Going on, everybody? I'm Howard Bender from Fantasy Alarm. If you made it through the first week of your fantasy football playoffs, congratulations. But with NFL injuries, matchups to deal with, you're probably going to have to go and hit that fantasy football waiver wire here for NFL Week 16. Now, we've got our waiver articles over at fantasyalarm.com. Andrew Cooper does your must-adds, your streamers, your stash plays. Those articles will be up this week, but I like to give you a little preliminary look, some names just to start thinking about right now as you move forward. So let's just get right to it at the quarterback position. And they'll start with Aaron Rodgers. Another strong performance here from the Jets quarterback. A 3-touchdown game. He had a 300-yard game before that. We know that he's a stat padder, and we know that he's looking for a job for next season. So while he just had a 3-touchdown game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, he's got another bad pass defense to face in against the Rams next week. So expect a lot of Aaron Rodgers to Davante Adams for another week. Also, take a look at Jameis Winston. Now, he had a bad outing in some bad weather this past week against the Kansas City Chiefs, but he gets the Cincinnati Bengals next week, and their pass defense remains absolutely atrocious. Just pray for some decent weather. At the running back position, maybe you lost David Montgomery. That's a bummer. Jerome Ford of the Cleveland Browns, definitely worth taking a look at. Nick Chubb suffered a broken foot, and Ford is now the new number one in Cleveland. He catches passes, and he's going to see the bulk of work against Cincinnati, who, again, continues to struggle to stop the run. You can also look at Tank Bigsby. He's at least got a 50% share of the workload for the Jaguars. They face a terrible run defense in the Las Vegas Raiders next week, so Bigsby might be worth a shot if he's available on your waiver wire. At the wide receiver position, give me Romeo Doubs from the Green Bay Packers. 2 touchdowns in his first game back. He's going to draw some attention because of that, but keep in mind, he's also the most reliable Green Bay wide receiver, and he helps move the chains too, so in a PPR format, we love him. You got to look at Jalen McMillan from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 3 touchdowns in his last 2 games, and it appears that he's finally stepped into that Chris Godwin role. It only took him 10 weeks to do it, but better late than never. He faces a bad Dallas Cowboys pass defense next week. At the tight end position, speaking of Dallas, we'll look at Jake Ferguson, right? He was a bust this past week, but he gets Tampa Bay next week, and we know that Tampa Bay already ranks 27th in DVOA against the tight end. They give up the 6th most fantasy points per game to the position. And then finally, also keep an eye out for Brenton Strange of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's a new target monster. Just saw 11 targets this past week, replacing Evan Engram, who's out for the season. Strange gets the Raiders next week. Good, solid matchup. Well, there you have it. Go check out everything that we've got over at fantasyalarm.com. You don't want to miss anything. And be on the lookout for some holiday specials if you're interested in subscribing. I'm Howard Bender from Fantasy Alarm. We'll catch you next time.